Today we're going to be talking about rentals. My name is Janelle. I was going to say, what does that even mean? But my name is Janelle. I'm in the parks a lot, and I like to bring you the in park perspective. And I'm with my co host, Mark.
Holy Moses.
Hi, everybody. Mark. Mark. Who's Mark?
I don't know. I was going to ask you that.
Who's Mark? I don't even know Mark.
I'm going to go see if there's a Park Pass podcast with Janelle and Mark.
Okay. Ready? And this is going to be on our blooper reel. Um, Hello, Disney friends, and welcome to the Park Life Podcast. This is episode number 12. My name is Janelle, and I am in the parks a lot. And I like to bring you the in park, inside the theme park perspective. And I'm with my co host.
Hello there, everybody. My name is Mike. I'm a travel planner that specializes in all things Disney. And so while Janelle's in the park frequently, I'm on the outside of the parks more often than not. And I can help with the planning, strategizing, what to know, promos, how to get them, what if there are no promos, all of those different things that can help make your travel experiences that much better.
Okay. Today we're going to be talking about
Rentals.
rentals.
Yes. So specifically, three different items that you can rent. We'll start with renting inside the parks, and then I'll talk about some options outside of the parks that you can rent and benefits of each. Now, the three items are strollers, wheelchairs, and what are called ECVs or electronic conveyance vehicles. I may call them scooters from here on out because I don't even know what the word conveyance means. Um, you can rent those things inside the parks. You can rent them from outside companies, and I'll reference a couple here and we'll talk about those. You can also bring your own. There's no reason that you have to rent them. And I will selfishly talk about strollers real quick. From my perspective, now my boys are all grown, but when they were little and we went to Disney, we always brought our own stroller.
Yeah.
And we did that for two main reasons. The first one being the airports are big, there's a lot of walking. And if I'm waiting to rent a stroller when I get to Disney, I'm either carrying my toddler along with lugging my suitcase, or I'm having my toddler walk through an airport and they're getting tired. So having your stroller is beneficial at the airport. Um, from your hometown when you get to Orlando. The other reason is that it's something that your child is accustomed to. They're comfortable in it. It's theirs. They're able to nap in it sometimes versus a new or foreign stroller that they're not comfortable with. So from my perspective, we always brought ours, but I know that it's not always convenient for everybody to be able to bring theirs. And so we want to talk about the options for renting. Same thing, you could apply that to wheelchairs, you could apply that to the scooters, the motorized vehicles. But we'll talk about renting them. Inside the parks, the four parks, Animal Kingdom, Hollywood Studios, Epcot, Magic Kingdom, you can rent any of those three items. They are first come, first serve basis, and there are limited quantities. They have a lot of them, but they are limited, and you cannot reserve them ahead of time. So if your intent is to rent one of them and you're not going to get to the park until noon, understand that when you arrive there, you may or may not be able to get one.
Yeah.
So just keep that in mind. One of the upsides to renting in the parks is the convenience of walk in, get it, hit your park day. And at the end of the day, when you've got 12 bags of souvenirs and merchandise that you've purchased, you can leave the stroller behind and not have to hassle with that getting on the bus or whatever the case may be. But again, first come, first serve, no reservations. So it's, if they're available, you can rent them. So we'll start at strollers. Inside the parks, they have two different options. There's a single stroller that's going to fit one child. The price to rent that is $15 per day. Or if you're going to be there multiple days, it's $13 per day times however many days that you're there. If you do the multi-day, when you pay for it, let's say you're going to be there for 4 days, so 4 times 13 is $52 plus tax. Keep your receipt. When you get to the next park the next day, you'll just show your receipt and they'll give you a stroller, provided one is available. Just because you bought the multi-day pass doesn't guarantee you one. Again, if you show up in the middle of the afternoon, they may or may not be available. Disney also has a double stroller. It is $31 per day, or on a multi-day, it's $27 times the number of days. Uh, Dual stroller or double stroller will fit two children side by side. Um, Now, when you rent the strollers, there's a $100 deposit that gets put on your credit card. When you return the stroller, that $100 is released.
Okay.
So pretty straightforward. Again, keep your receipt so that if you're multi-day, you show the receipt, get the stroller. If you park hop in the same day, when you get to your second park, show the receipt. Again, provided there are strollers available, you'll get a stroller at no additional charge. One, I'll say, downside to renting strollers at Disney: the stroller stays in the park.
Yeah.
So at the end of your park day, when your toddler's been in the stroller all day and you've been pushing them and you've been walking and you've been carrying stuff all day, one of you is really, really tired. The other one is exhausted. And that's the thing. So you're going to turn in that stroller, which means you're going to have to pick up your toddler and carry them with your exhausted self back to your transportation. So that is a downside to rentals inside the parks. They have to stay in the park.
Right.
All right, let's jump to wheelchairs.
Oh,
If you need to,
can
oh
I
yeah,
say no, I just want to add so that everybody knows when you're walking into the park, all the wheelchair and EVC and stroller, they're all together and they're right at the front of the park. If you get to the back of the park and your toddler is tired of walking, there's no place back there to rent a stroller. You have to do it at the front of the park.
yes, that's a great call. So plan
Yeah.
ahead. Now, some of you might be thinking, okay, my 4 year old, my 5 year old, they don't use a stroller anymore at home. I don't
Yeah.
want one. Well, we've talked about this in the past. A 5 mile walk at home is not the same as a 5 mile walk at Disney. If your 4 or 5 year old is not using a stroller at home, there's probably a pretty good chance that you'll regret not having one at
Yeah.
Disney. So I would highly recommend it. And look, if your 4 or 5 year old is a trooper and they walk through that whole time and you've rented the stroller, use the stroller and put your bags in.
Yeah.
So you're
Okay.
carrying
Yeah.
stuff.
So I just wanted to let everybody know they're right at the beginning. You'll see the sign just as cast member, but that's where they are. They're only in one location, and that's where you have to go.
Yeah, that's a great call. And when you walk into the park, if you're not sure where they're at, and you're there first thing in the morning, find the line that's right at the
Yeah.
front. And that's probably the stroller
Yeah.
rent.
Yeah.
All right, so wheelchairs. It's $12 per day to rent a
Okay.
wheelchair, or if you're doing multi-day, it's $10.
Okay.
The wheelchairs at the Disney parks only supports one person on it, so don't rent one and have your 6 year old hop in your lap or whatever the case may be. There's a 350-pound maximum weight limit on the wheelchairs. You must be 18 years of age or older to rent one, and you have to show ID to be able to rent one.
Okay.
Keep that in mind. And then scooters, the electronic versions, ECV, whatever that darn thing stood for. Um, Renting the scooter inside the park, it is $65 per day. There is no multi-day discount, so it's 65
Okay.
times however many days. There is a refundable $20 deposit that's required when you first rent. You must be 18 years or older to rent them and use them. That's very important. So you must be 18 to rent and use them. You must show identification. One person on the ECV. It's not for you and a partner. There's no ride hatch on the side that Junior can hop in on. And it's a $450 or 450-pound maximum weight limit
Okay.
on the scooters at Disney. Should say this for both wheelchairs and scooters, just like the strollers, they are for inside the park only.
Yep.
So if you're in need of a wheelchair or a scooter, at the end of the park day, you're getting off of that apparatus and you're walking back to your mode of transportation. So
Okay.
that's important to note.
I agree.
And that's why we then talk about a couple of outside companies that you can rent from for strollers, wheelchairs, and the scooters. Since you're renting from outside of the parks, those apparatus can be with you throughout your stay, which is beneficial if you need a wheelchair or scooter, for instance. You can have it on your resort.
Yeah.
walking or going from your room to the dining hall for breakfast or lunch, or getting to the bus stop, or if you want to go to Disney Springs, having it to maneuver through Disney Springs. That is a huge advantage to renting outside of the Disney parks.
Yeah.
You are reserving that piece of equipment ahead of time, which guarantees that you'll get it, as opposed to the first come, first serve that you have inside of the parks. So there are numerous companies that you can rent from, and we could probably spend an hour going through each and every one of them. But we'll just focus on two that are probably two of the bigger rental companies in the Orlando area that are
Okay.
very reputable and trustworthy. The first one is called Buena Vista Scooters. They rent strollers, they rent wheelchairs, they rent the scooters, the ECVs as well. One thing you'll notice is the prices are a little bit less expensive
Mm.
renting outside of Disney than they are inside of the parks. And
Okay.
part of that, I think, is the fact that when you walk into the park, you're in need of that device that moment. And so Disney will charge a premium rate. And since it's first come, first serve, they know that you're going to pay the price if they have it available and you need it. So with Buena Vista, a single stroller for a 2 to 3 day rental is a total of $50. Now, if you looked at the stroller prices at Magic Kingdom, for instance, it was $15 per day. So if you're only there for 2 days, it's $30. So yes, you're paying a little bit more. But keep in mind, you have that stroller the entire length of your stay, not just inside the park. So getting
Yeah.
your children to the bus or the Skyliner or the monorail to Disney Springs, whatever the case may be, wandering, walking around your resort, you'll have it with you the whole time. A 4 to 6 day rental is $70 in total. So you're getting closer to 10, 12, $13 per day. And they do have rentals beyond 6 days, but just for the sake of
Yeah.
comparison here, I stopped at that point. They do offer double strollers. 2 to 3 day rental is $70 plus tax. 4 to 6 day is $90. So price comparison, the longer you're there, it's comparable to Disney's price. You just have the flexibility of having it with you the whole time.
Okay.
For wheelchairs at Buena Vista Scooters, 2 day rental is $40, 3 day rental is $50, and it goes on up. Just comparison, a 7 day rental is $90. So that's $13 a day, roughly, for the wheelchair if you're there for a full week.
Okay.
And then the scooters, they charge $55 per day with a 3 day minimum rental. So 55 a day. What was Disney's? Disney's for the scooter was 65 a day. So you can see where it's a little bit less expensive. And again,
Yeah.
you have it
You
for
have it.
your entire stay. If you rent with Buena Vista, you must arrange a drop off time for them to drop it off, with you being there face to face with them, receiving it, as well as returning it. So keep
Okay.
that in mind, that if you arrive to Disney on June 28th and you want a scooter, that you've got to schedule with Buena Vista a time when you know you'll be at the resort and meet them to get the scooter, wheelchair, or stroller, whatever it is you're renting.
Okay.
But again, very reputable company, quality products, and decent, reasonable pricing. The other company is called Scooter Bug, SCOOTERBUG, Scooter Bug. Um, they have rentals of strollers, wheelchairs, and ECVs or scooters, just like Buena Vista does. Pricing is comparable, and I'll go through those prices. The one huge advantage to Scooter Bug is you do not have to be at your resort when they drop it off. If you're flying in on June 28th and you're arriving at 3 in the afternoon, you'll arrange with Scooter Bug. They'll drop off that scooter at Bell Services. It may be sitting there waiting for you when you get to the resort after you get through the airport. So very, very convenient. Same thing when you're going back to the airport, you can leave that unit that you rented at Bell Services. Scooter Bug will arrange to come pick it up. You do not have to be there.
Okay.
Huge advantage. All right, so stroller rentals for Scooter Bug. Pricing ranges between $11.25 up to $16.25 per day for a single stroller. If you rent 3 days or more, the price per day is more affordable than Disney's multi-day price. If you're doing a double stroller, the rate's between $15 and $17.50 per day. And again, the longer you rent, the more affordable it becomes. Now, Scooterbug does provide add-ons to your stroller. You can purchase damage waiver coverage in case something happens to the stroller. You're not out the cost of the stroller. You can rent snack trays to attach to the front of the stroller.
Okay.
You can purchase rain covers to
Mm,
the stroller. You can purchase a bag hook to put on the stroller to hang your bags. And you can also purchase a cup holder that can attach to the stroller.
okay.
Um, so those are some add-ons for strollers at Scooterbug. Did I catch you with the snack tray?
Yeah. Okay. Whatever everybody wants, that's
Sure.
fine.
That's right. Yeah, some tykes like to eat, so having that snack tray is handy.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, wheelchair rental at Scooterbug. The prices vary between $12.50 a day up to $13.75 per day. Again, the longer you rent, the more affordable it is. Part of the range in price is they have different types of wheelchairs. There's a standard wheelchair, there's one with thicker padding, there's one that's a little bit wider, different variables like that. And they also offer some add-ons for wheelchairs, damage waiver again. If you need, say, you have your right foot in a cast or walking boot, you can rent a leg rest for the right side
Um,
for it, or if it's a left side, or if for some reason you need both, you can rent both leg rests.
Okay.
Bag hook is again something that you can purchase and you keep, and same thing with a cup holder that can attach to the wheelchair. And last for rentals at Scooterbug, the scooters or ECVs, those range $34 to $45 per day, which again you can see is much more affordable than I think Disney's $65 per day. You can add on damage waiver. You can rent a cane or crutch holder. So if you're using the ECV, but you also have crutches so that you can get
Yeah.
off and be more mobile,
I mean, makes sense.
yeah, you can rent holders for your cane or crutches. You can buy a rain cover for the scooter. You can buy also a bag hook, as we mentioned, and then cup holders as well.
No trays for the scooter driver.
No snack trays, no eating and driving. No
Okay.
eating and driving. The
No
stroller,
cell phone holder.
no, yeah. The stroller, they're just a passenger. They can eat and ride, but you're driving that scooter, you can't be eating at the same time. From a just an overall rental perspective, you have great options, whether it's
Yeah.
last minute and I need it inside the park, you'll pay a little bit more, and that device stays inside of the park. Um, there's some upside to that. I mentioned earlier on, if you have a 4 or 5 year old that doesn't use a stroller at home, rent the stroller inside the park. If they get tired middle of the day, they hop on it and use it for a little bit. Maybe they want to just take a quick snap or snooze, or you got 5 bags of merchandise and you want to throw those in there. The advantage to renting and only having it stay inside the park is at the end of the day, you leave it there and you're on your
Yeah.
way. Um, Now, if you've got a toddler, 1 year old, 2 year old, they're going to be using that stroller quite frequently. Having one that stays with you when you leave the park is certainly advantageous.
Yeah. I
So
agree.
if you don't want to tote those with you, or you don't have room, and if you're driving, you don't have room in your trunk for the stroller or the wheelchair, you don't have one of the attachments on the back of your vehicle for the scooter, then renting is a great option. Um, and depending on the length of your stay, wanting to have those things outside of the parks, I would look at using one of those companies to rent with. And Scooterbug is the only recognized company that Disney allows them to drop off devices at the resort without the guests being there. So that is a huge advantage to utilizing Scooterbug.
Yeah. All right.
So
Anything else?
that's rental stuff. Anything you want to add to that? Things you've seen inside the parks, experiences, anything at all?
I mean, a couple things, and it's not long. Is one, I've never rented anything, so I don't have really any experience. But what I have seen is, again, it's another thing that I would say you would bring your patience with. I feel somewhat bad for somebody pushing a stroller or driving the EVC, people walking in front of you. And I have made the suggestion in the past that maybe you go to your local grocery store, or you go to your local Target or someplace that has the EVC, and kind of drive it around the grocery store and practice before you coming to the park. And all those people are walking in front of you, knowing how to stop it and start it and all the things. Just, so you're not nervous. I know that there's some people that are just super nervous getting on it. And if you want to give yourself a little practice, maybe find a store that has them and give it a shot and see if it's even for you. That's all I have. But again, bring your patience. If you're one of those people who needs them, uh, you know, it might not go so smoothly, but I don't know, maybe it does. So I
Yeah.
don't know.
That's obviously a kind of a great tip that if you're unsure
Yeah.
about driving the scooter, going to your local supermarket or convenience store and hopping in one of theirs and driving them around. If you truly want to get the actual experience of driving one of those like you would have at Disney, go on Black Friday and drive one of those around with
Yes.
the crowded stores. That stimulates Disney much more effectively.
Yeah, there you go. That's how you can practice that. But other
That's
than that, that's all I have. I mean, I think we've provided some great options, and hopefully this gives you all the information you need. And if you do need more information, you can always reach out to myself or to Mike. We are here to answer any other rental questions because you might have something that we haven't thought of.
Yeah, that's right. In that sense, if you work with me in booking your trip, not only do I help you with booking the trip, but I can also book your rentals for you so that it makes it hassle free on your end. And you can just plan for the trip and the excitement and not have to deal with all of the things that go around getting that trip planned. I will say from a inside the park perspective that I know the first time we were there with Stroller, and it was our own, but you'll have the same experience whether it's yours or renting inside or outside the parks. You park the stroller and you go get on a ride, and you come back and your stroller's not there. There's parking areas within each of the
Yeah.
rides, and Disney has cast members in those sections that they monitor, police that, and as certain areas of the parking space, if you will, for the strollers empties, they will move strollers so they kind of keep things as concise as possible. So keep that in mind when you get off of a ride and you know it's exactly where I put my stroller and it's not there. It hasn't been stolen, at least not yet. Check around, ask a cast member, they'll let you know if strollers got moved or where they may have been moved to.
Okay. Good tip.
You know,
Very good tip.
yep. And so we have a little extra time here, so we're going to have a little bonus topic on top of
Oh,
rentals
okay.
that we'll hit on, and that is if you've rented, or I'm sorry, if you booked a stay inside the Disney bubble at one of the Disney resorts, the couple dozen or so resorts, there are some things that you can request to have inside your room that you may not know about. Disney does their best that they can in accommodating requests. Sometimes they can, sometimes they cannot. Um,
Okay.
if for instance, if you rent book a stay in a standard room, but you ask to be right next to the bus stop, that's probably not something that's accommodated because the rooms that are next to the bus stop are premium rooms. So you're paying a little bit more for. But there are
Okay.
things that Disney will do their best if they can accommodate, they will. And some of these are things that maybe you never thought of and maybe you needed and didn't know they offered. So I think these are great things to go through. In random order, Disney does have some microwaves that they make available if you ask that they can put in
Mm,
your room for you.
wow.
So
Okay.
great to have if you've got leftover food that you brought back to your room, put it in the refrigerator. Now you need to heat it up. And it's 11 o'clock at night. You just got back from the park and the cafeteria is closed. If they had a microwave available and you have it in your room, you can use it to your advantage.
Okay.
Another one, if this is for folks who um, physically have challenges in standing up in the showers, Disney does make available shower benches.
Okay.
You can put into the shower and sit down to shower. I know some folks with different conditions standing for any length of time, the shower can be a challenge for them. So they do have shower benches that you can request to have in the room. If you got littles, you can request a crib or a pack and play to be put into your room. Again, all of these requests, Disney will do their best to accommodate. they don't have one crib per room in the entire resort. So if everybody showed up with a 2-year-old and asked for a crib, some people are going to, not be able to get them. But those are things that you can ask for.
And that's at no additional
No additional
cost.
cost. That's exactly
Okay.
right.
Okay.
Now your toddler has graduated out of pack and play, and they're sleeping in a bed, but you're not comfortable yet with them, and they're not comfortable yet. Disney does have bed rails that you can
Huh.
request. Again, if they have them, they'll make them available for you to help, ease of mind that your toddler isn't going to go rolling off the bed in the middle of the night. Staying on this toddler train for a little bit, you got your 3-year-old who back home is potty trained, but just recently potty trained. And now it's a foreign place, right? And so things are different and little's brains work differently. Disney does make waterproof mattress pads available upon request. Not a bad way to go if your child is in that between stage of fully being potty trained, no
Yeah.
matter where. So that's an option. You can ask for a mattress topper, add a little comfort to your bed experience. Again, if they have them and they're available, you can request one and they'll make it available in your room. This is something I would have never thought of, but if you have a condition where you're having to like do insulin injections or whatever, you can request a sharp container box so you can drop your used insulin needles into.
Okay.
I mentioned microwave already. I wrote it down twice. I guess you can always ask for two if you want. Um, Blankets, pillows, towels. If you need extras of any of those, they make those available. You can absolutely ask for those things.
Okay.
And look at that. I wrote down a shower bench twice. I guess you need two of those. Wow, I was extra paying attention to my list here. So anyway, yeah, and if there's something I didn't mention that is something you would think you would need, ask. I know Janelle said this before. The answer will always be no if you never ask the question.
Right.
So if there's something you think you need, you can always ask if they make it available. If they do, all the better. If they don't, then at least you know. But ask and you'll find out. But these other things, um, uh, microwave in particular, is something I don't think most people know that you can ask for.
No, but
Um,
it makes sense if you're like heating bottles or you need warm water or something like that for baby bottles. I mean, that was the first thing. I know you went to heating up your leftovers. I went to heating up a baby bottle, especially at, 1 o'clock in the morning.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. And these are things when you book your stay, whether it's 60 days from now or 6 months from now, you can call or have your travel agent call on your behalf if they've booked your trip for you and put those requests in. Disney can have up to 2 notes on your resort package. So if you want a microwave and a shower bench and a pack and play and bed rails, you want 5 things. You need to prioritize. What are your two most important?
Okay.
Get those requests put in early on your package, and they'll do their best to accommodate. When you arrive and you need to ask for item 3, 4, or 5, you can ask, and again, if they're available, they will absolutely provide those. All these things are free of charge.
Okay. Oh, I like that little bonus section. There were some I had no idea. So thank you. Thank you for sharing.
And I'm going to kind of tout travel agents. That's one of the advantages of utilizing a travel agent is there are things that you may never think of, and so you don't ask. And a simple thing like the microwave to heat up your baby bottle in the middle of the night is something that will make your trip that much more
Yeah.
enjoyable. And so take advantage of the travel agents that specialize in this sort of stuff.
Yeah. All righty. Well, are we wrapping up here? I think we're good.
I'm all out of things to rent and things to rent.
Wow. Okay, you heard it, guys. Mike is done for the day. Well, we're going to take advantage of that. Anyways, thank you everybody for being here on our rental episode. We appreciate you. I'm Disney Parks with Love on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube. And Mike is in all of those places as
Mike underscore Disney travel.
Okay. And like I said, we're both very accessible for any other questions on any of these topics. If there's anything you need, always feel free to reach out to either one of us. Thank you again. I hope you have a wonderful day,
Yes.
and we will see everybody next time.
Yep. Have a magical day.
Bye, everyone.